Okay, good evening and welcome again to Better Life Convos. It's nice to have you, and it is also nice to be on this last Better Life Convos for 2023. But the end of the year is around the corner. From tomorrow, we'll count down in December, Christmas, and all the expenses that come with end of year and the season. It's a lot of concern for households and for individuals. And we thought that we come again and just talk about that. Are you surviving or are you thriving? But again, as usual, we would go through what Better Life is about and what we're trying to achieve. We will go through this 60-minute conversation. You can ask your questions through the Q&A, and through the chat box. Stay connected to the end. We start on time and we end on time. And we allow you to also participate in the polls that the speakers will be sharing through the conversation. Better Life, as we know, is a business that has a vision to digitally connect a minimum of 10 million active Africans in the next 5 years. We're building Africa's wellness tribe, as we want to believe. And we're leveraging innovation and in the pursuit of the SDG 3 to inspire and reward ordinary people to do ordinary activities in a consistent and sustainable manner in pursuit of a better life. Those are the things that we're about. Our focus on wellness is following the 8 domains of wellness: intellectual wellness, spiritual wellness, environmental wellness. Today, we're talking about financial wellness. We will also be talking about emotional wellness and physical wellness at the appropriate times. We will talk about social wellness. We have also had a conversation on workplace, or what you'd also call occupational wellness. There's a data that I want us to bear in mind, and this is what keeps us going in Better Life. According to the WHO, 60% of deaths in the world are caused by 4 risk factors: physical inactivity, poor diet, tobacco use, and excessive alcohol intake. Now, this leads to 4 lifestyle diseases: cancer, diabetes, respiratory diseases, and cardiovascular disease as well. Now, this is something that we just always want to talk about, and Better Life is focused on making you live a better life as it is, pursue a better lifestyle in managing or in response to this data that is out there by the WHO. So this evening, we have 2 people talking to us about financial well-being. Kalu Aja is I would call him a friend. He has come several years with me. Kalu and I went to I would want to say, one of the best schools in Nigeria, the Air Force Military School in Jos. I would just say we were students together in the school. And today, Kalu is doing very interesting things in the financial advisory space, and I'm very happy to have him with us this evening. Kalu, welcome, and thank you for accepting to be here with us. The next person is Uju Iruku. Uju is my friend. Uju and I have come several years as well. Uju is an accomplished banker. Uju is working out of the UK, in FBN UK. But most importantly, Uju is also an author. I also forgot to say that Kalu is an author. We have 2 authors today. Uju has a book, The Habits of the Financially Wise. She's doing a 2nd edition, which will be out next year, June. Kalu's book I would announce at the end of this conversation. Kalu's book you can buy on Amazon Prime. I would announce it and also the connection to that book will be in the chat box at the end of the conversation. Thank you very much. Uju and Kalu, take it away, and I'll just get off for you guys to go on. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayo. Thank you so much. Hi, Uju. How's it going?
Very well, thank you. Hello, Kalu. It's incredible that we're having a session together, isn't it? I only see you on Instagram and Twitter. So this is really great.
Okay. And a great topic too, surviving and thriving, and one thing about social media is that you can talk to millions of people at the same time, but have the same topic, right? Mm-hmm. So one thing that hits me on DM and comment is everyone is worried in Nigeria. There's inflation. And I give you a good example. You're a Nigerian, you have a good job, you're earning, then the financial advisor says spend below spend lower than spend more than what I'm trying to say. Spend within your means, stay within your means. You've done that. You have savings. But the problem is that inflation is just eating away that savings. So people are worried. Carlo, what can I do? I've done my bit. I've got a job. I've stayed honest. I'm not spending on frivolities. I'm just buying food. And I can't keep up because I put money in the bank. The bank pays me 10%. But inflation is 30% if I'm buying food. If it's called 27%. Carlo, what do I do? So there are people who are stressed. There are retirements. They can't afford to just cover the expenses. So it's a big, big worry for folks in Nigeria. In America, it's 4%, 3% inflation. UK, 5%. It's bad, but it's 4-5%. In Nigeria, it's 30%. They can't save.
That's right. That's really true, Kandu. And I remember when inflation bumped up to about 8% in the United Kingdom. I mean, everyone was almost about to chop off the head of the prime minister because it was totally unheard of. I mean, inflation typically remains under 3%, under 2%. And so you can imagine what an inflation of 30% would do to your savings, interest rates, to the investments that you have, even the value of your properties. Everything is just affected, by that. And then it puts you in a really tough situation, which is why today's topic of surviving versus thriving is really very good, because there is a survival space that you can be in, and there is a thriving space that you can be in. And when the odds are so stacked against you, you have to have the right kind of tips to be sure that you're making the right decision. And I mean, as I said, you're the guy with all the data. So yes, you always come up with the numbers that help us out. But I think one of the things that most people would worry about is, will my money last? I used to have an investment portfolio that was maybe 1 million. I'm using very simple terms here. And with 30% inflation, with devaluation of the currency, now I'm left with the real value is about 300,000 naira. And so all my plans have gone to naught. And what will be the things that I would need to do? I'm hoping today's conversation will answer some of those questions. But Paulo, I don't know if you're ready for us to take a first poll so that we hear from our audience exactly what their concerns are. What do you think? Should we do that?
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's get the polls of the popular, the people out there, like. So, and I'm going to do this one as well. So it's asking, what is your major financial concern? Inadequate income, that should win now. Then spending habits. Then how to start saving, getting out of debt, planning to buy a home. That should be very important. Adequate retirement funds, and finally, capital to start a business. Wow. That last one and that first one. There's going to be competition there. Which one should I pick? Yeah.
Well, let's see what our people think.
Yeah. Oh, panelists can't vote. Wow. INEC. Okay. Yeah, this is very interesting to see the results. Is it all in? Beavers capturing the results, sending it to the secure server.
Real Beavers. I like that.
Let's see if I have a comment here.
Do we need more time? Is everybody voting? Okay, can we see the results now? Whoa, you were right, Kalu.
Yeah. Yeah, and you see, people go for inadequate income. What they're simply saying is that they earn the income, but it's inadequate because, like you said, 30% tax. You can't avoid inflation tax. So if you earn $1 million, 300,000 goes away via taxation of inflation. You can't avoid it. You can't dodge it. It's gone. So the question that these guys that are picking inadequate income are asking is, what can I do about it? You know, what can you do about inflation so you're not maybe surviving, you're trying to thrive in a high inflation environment. Now, inflation, if you want to define it very, very simply, is a loss of purchasing power. Loss of purchasing power. What do you purchase with? You purchase with the Naira if you're in Nigeria. So the good way to avoid inflation in Nigeria is not to hold Naira. So what that would mean is if you can diversify your currency and your assets, that your spending commodity or your spending currency is not Naira, you are, should we say, risk avoiding that Naira inflation. That means if you're going to keep cash, you're not going to spend it in the next 90 days. I wouldn't keep it in Naira. I mean, it doesn't mean you should go buy dollars. You could buy rice. You could buy tin tomato. Literally, that's a better store of value than the currency that you have right now. And we're not trying to be flippant. It's just numbers. 30% is not the number, but the trend, would you? Because if you go back 6 months ago, it wasn't 27 or 30. So the trend is steep. It's going up every month. That's the problem. It's not just the number, but the trend. So that's how I interpret this. What do you think, Uju?
Okay, so thanks, Carl. You're really right. People must begin to understand where to, I use the word park, to park their funds, to be sure that it's the right store of value. As you said, if you earn in Naira, you must be thinking, where else can I put my funds so that in 3 months' time, you know, I've hedged against whatever, you know, the inflation would be if it's rising, or whatever shocks may come, even if it's a currency devaluation or the currency exchange rate. And so long as you don't have an understanding of the right kind of places to put in your funds to hedge, then you will keep suffering every time there's a shock in the economic system. And so, I mean, you are right. There are people who say, oh no, I'll just go and buy dollars and keep it. Yes, you will get your $1 for $1, but depending on how the currency moves, you could be buying $1 at an average cost that's even higher than the current cost. So you must understand all of these little nuances so that you're sure you're on the right side. But the important thing is know that your Naira is at 30%. First of all, before you even add in the currency shocks, you know that 30% is already out. And so you have to make up that 30% almost as soon as you're getting the Naira. Would you put your money in buying a new car? No. Because definitely, as they say, a car begins to depreciate the minute you drive it out of the showroom. So definitely, you're not going to get a good store of value there. Should you be investing in a house? Well, people do say that, oh, property is really great, but don't forget that if you're investing in Naira in Nigeria, then the common factors around the Nigerian economy will always affect you. Okay, people say, should I put my money in treasury bills? Treasury bills rates in Nigeria now would probably be between 9 and 11 if it's general, so maybe it's much higher. Yeah, so
and it's correct. And again,
yes,
you know,
yes, and that's almost 19% less than inflation. So you must be able to consider all of these things before you then make a decision as to where you're putting your money, and which is why getting the right information is so key. You know, you must be informed. You must read. You must follow these trends, understand them, because your money is what's working for you. Nothing else works for you. It's your money, and so you've got to know how to deal with it there. Do you have anything else to add around that?
Yeah, the last one is just going to be, I see adequate retirement funds. It scores very low at 5%, but that's actually the most important financial goal you have whilst you are working, right? So people look at retirement as it's going to happen in 40 years. Listen, you have to start to save for retirement today. Even when you see all the bad news about inflation, you have to